Good morning and welcome. Welcome to this place where, challenged by our liberating faith, we discover deeper spiritual meaning, nurture loving community, cultivate courageous connections, and partner in the work of justice. Welcome to each and all of you, those joining on the live stream, watching or listening later, those in the building and on the grounds. Welcome to this time made sacred and holy by each one of us. Through our gathering hearts and minds, through our labor, through our shared commitment to building a new way and nurturing the beloved community. I'm Reverend Amanda, and what a joy it is to be together once more. If you're new or feeling new and you want ways to learn more about this congregation, you can contact Kelly Green, our member of Director Relations. Her info is on the screen. We have just a few announcements this morning as we get into our Stewardship Sunday. You might have heard about cottage meetings. Well, the signups are still active and live. These are meetings that give us a chance to strengthen our connections with one another, with other members, to reflect on our connections to this community, all while enjoying delicious snacks and food and company. Members of the stewardship team will be in coffee hour across the hall to help you register to get connected to a cottage meeting. You're also invited to a Faithful Generosity workshop on Sunday, March 8th at 11:45 a.m. This interactive workshop will explore generosity from all kinds of angles. It'll be another opportunity for us to connect in real conversation. And we also have a number of engaging activities to celebrate our community over these next 6 weeks of stewardship season. First, there will be an all-ages game spectacular Saturday afternoon, March 7th. Join us for group games, tabletop games, and much, much more. Also, on Saturday evening of March 21st, we'll host a spring fling dance with a potluck meal beforehand. I'm trying to convince them to do a costume contest, and I will be there. On Friday, April 3rd, that is Good Friday, there will be an all-ages talent showcase for you to share your unique talent. Everything from sharing a plant that you grew, displaying a painting, demonstrating a yoga pose, singing a song, or playing an instrument. And we kind of have this wild idea that we're going to form a band and I'm going to play the bass in it for the second time in front of people. So, you know, I sacrifice too. More information about all these opportunities can be found in your order of service or in our weekly e-newsletter Current on our website. Please join us to build community together. Again, welcome to each and every one of you. Whether this is your first time with us or you laid the foundation of this place yourself, we are one people of many beliefs, shared values, diverse backgrounds, and real lives. We celebrate the fullness of those lives here together, and it is good to be together once more.
That's what I Good morning. My name is Debbie Marr.
And my name is David Flynn. We are the co-chairs of this year's annual pledge campaign, which starts today. Let's begin our service with these words adapted from Leslie Takahashi.
To worship means to consider that which has worth. Today, we consider with gratitude the many gifts of this community.
The opportunity to be affirmed in who we are and to offer that affirmation to others.
The chance to stand together to help remake the world in the ideal of justice.
The freedom to choose one's own path to truth and to learn from the travelogues of others.
The space to expand one's own spirit and to reconnect after busy or humdrum weeks with the sustaining truths of life.
Regular reminders that we must see our world through the lens of love.
And the aspiration to consider all life as precious. For if all of it is made of stardust, how can it not be wondrous?
So this morning, let's welcome all of these gifts with gratitude, for they have been paid for with many currencies.
The work of those who persisted in justice's name against hostility and adversity.
The laughter and joy of those in the embrace of community.
The dollars and cents of those who gave what they could and then stretched a little more.
The infinite small acts of service that make the parts greater than the whole, done by those who knew themselves in sympathy with our purpose.
So today, we consider with gratitude and humility what it means to pay forward what has been paid forward for us.
And now, with all of that in mind, let us enter into worship by lighting our chalice as a symbol of gratitude and generosity as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together.
Good morning. I'm Paula Gribble, Director of Lifespan Religious Education. My pronouns are she, her. And I'm happy to be with you this morning talking about stewardship. When I was younger, I didn't really understand stewardship or what it was about, and I didn't even go to church, so I didn't have an understanding of tithing or paying it forward or any of those things. And when I got older and I joined a UU church, was the very first time I really understood. And my very first pledge, which was 20 years ago, as a 20-something-year-old, my pledge was $120 for the year. I did $10 a month, and it was what I felt I could do at the time, but I felt like I was a part of it. And one of the things that's sometimes we forget is that we're all a part of it as we create this community together. And so I wanted the opportunity, as I often do, to involve our children and youth in understanding stewardship. I went to talk to them about it a couple of weeks ago, and I told them stewardship is I'm a word nerd, so I look at where words come from, and stewardship, like worship, means to shape something, and steward means guardian of the house. Which I just love that, house guardian, and how easy that is to understand. So I hope that we will all be some kind of house guardian through this time and through all of our time at the church. And like I said, I got to talk to the children and youth about this recently, and here is what they had to say. Does anybody remember the 3 T's of stewardship?
I would call stewardship the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. Time.
Time.
Talent.
Oh, I heard talent.
Treasure.
And treasure. What does it mean to be a good steward of the church?
You could help clean up and make the church look nice so you can enjoy the services more on Sundays.
Good.
You could like give your time, like even our advisors here, giving back to us.
Donating to the food pantries.
So I know that each of the four of you are part of the children's choir.
Yeah.
And the children's choir, you guys are about half of it. If you didn't show up every week for those practices and for performances, there really wouldn't be a children's choir. And I know how much joy the congregation gets out of your participation and watching your performances. And so that is a wonderful way that each of you gives back to this community.
So Oliver, what is it you do to help out be a good steward at the church?
Open the doors and help set up and clean up. I realized that we use stewardship every day, but in different ways.
Who benefits from, who gets good things out of stewardship?
Everyone who comes here.
Everyone who comes here. And who is able to give back of their time, talent, and treasure?
Everyone here.
Everyone who comes here. Very good. Thank you so much. What wonderful things our children can share with us when we ask them and listen. And now our children and youth will go off to their classes. For some of you today, we'll be going to the playground, the Spirit Playground, or the Traffic Circle Playground. It's also Playground 1. So if you're going to pick up your kids, that's where you'll pick them up. But for now, we'll all go gather in Freeman Hall and get ready to go to class. We will sing them out.
So, on this Stewardship Sunday, we wanted to share a little bit about what stewardship actually is and why we're pledging this way this year.
And yes, we did consider a 45-slide PowerPoint presentation.
But we decided to spare you.
Thank you. But also, stewardship. You guys were talking about this last night in the chili cook-off. What's it really mean? What are we talking about exactly?
Fair question, Terry. So stewardship means care. It's how we care for something we love.
And in this case, it's how we care for this community. Financially, yes, but also relationally. It's how we make sure UUCC can keep showing up as who we say we are.
Okay, but so this is about guilt and outgiving each other, right?
No, not at all.
Seriously, stewardship isn't about pressure or proving anything. It's about shared responsibility.
Shared responsibility, meaning?
Meaning, it's in our hands, not one person's, not the staff's alone, not the board's alone.
All of us.
Ah, so that's the all-in part.
Exactly.
So what's the difference between stewardship and pledging?
Another good question, Terry. Stewardship is about caring for our community year-round in many ways, not just financial, but pledging is the financial promise we make toward an upcoming fiscal year.
And when we promise ahead of time to donate a specific amount of money, the community knows how to build a budget that is fiscally responsible. We don't want to spend money we don't have.
Ah, but okay, so why does this feel like a whole thing?
Because it is a thing. For the first time in many years, we're returning to an annual pledge campaign like we used to do a long time ago.
Instead of dividing people up and making lots of individual calls, we're doing this together as a congregation.
So, fewer awkward phone calls?
Fewer awkward phone calls.
I'm listening.
This also gives us time to celebrate generosity, to talk honestly about money, and remember why any of this matters.
Okay. But what are we actually trying to do here? Let's talk numbers.
You are on fire, Terry. Another great question. Yes, we do have a clear goal.
Our pledge campaign goal is, drumroll, $819,000, which represents about a 14% increase in total pledge income from last year.
That sounds like a lot.
It is meaningful.
And it's achievable because it's shared. We're all going to do this together.
And here's why it's important. This increase allows us to fund the budget responsibly. Staffing programs, building care, dues, savings, so we can thrive instead of just scraping by.
So this isn't about extravagance? It's about stability?
Exactly. Sustainability in the ministry, but also planning ahead.
Okay, but in this economy, a person's finances can be complicated?
That's why we created the Giving Guide using information from the UUA.
Instead of one right amount, it meets people where they are. Low cup, adequate cup, full cup, runneth over. You may have reviewed this at a cottage meeting or read about it in your pledge packet.
Biblical and practical. I love it.
It's not about comparison, it's about discernment.
And it's a chance to really be honest with yourself about your commitment. You don't have to justify your situation to anyone else.
Okay, but didn't we just do that Cornerstones of Connection thing? Didn't we just fix stuff?
Well, we did something really important, but that was to address a serious shortfall in the 25-26 fiscal year budget.
Thanks to incredible generosity and a matching grant, we actually were able to close that deficit and rebuild our reserves.
That gave us some breathing room.
But stewardship is how we keep breathing during the 26-27 fiscal year.
Exactly.
So this year's invitation is simple, but it's not shallow.
Go all in, at whatever level makes sense to you.
All in for community.
All in for justice.
All in for a congregation that will be here for the next people who need it.
Okay, but what do I do to pledge? What do I actually do to pledge?
Well, you can scan the QR code. Cue the QR code.
You can also fill out a paper pledge or go online.
And when do I start giving my promised amount?
The fiscal year runs from July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027.
And once you make your pledge, guess what?
You get to put your hand in the jar.
Because it's literally in our hands.
That's right.
We're
all in.
Okay, I guess they're in. I'm in too.
Now, I have to be honest with you all. If I could avoid this, I would. See, growing up, I did church minimum 3 times a week. Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday evening. And Wednesdays were by far my favorite because while the adults were in what we called big church, us young folk were down the hall in our own space, singing and enjoying being young. I never really knew what the grown-ups were doing over there. I always assumed it was like Bible study, which sounded so incredibly boring. I didn't know, and I really didn't care. One day after church, I saw what I now know to be a budget packet folded up in my mom's car. And I asked her what it was, and she said, we had our quarterly church meeting. What that was, I neither knew nor cared. The budget packet, with all of its lines and numbers, looked like gibberish to me. I guess I kind of thought that the church ran on vibes or something. All these years later, just a couple of days ago when I was writing this, I texted my mom and I said, do you still tithe? And if so, why do you do it? And she said, yes, I believe in the work of the church. That's so my mom, a scientist through and through. So all those years ago, I didn't know what was going on in there. I just knew that whatever was on that sheet wasn't about me and it wasn't for me. And that was for the grown-ups. And part of me still feels that way in general in life. I often find myself silently wondering, where are the grown-ups? When the dishes need to be done, that's for the grown-ups. Where are the grown-ups? When it's time for an oil change, where are the grown-ups? When the president posts an angry tweet, where are the grown-ups? And then I remember, with a crashing reality, that at 40 years old, I am, in fact, the grown-up. And so I roll up my sleeves, I do the dishes, get the oil changed, and do my civic duty and vote. And whether I like it or not, the way this world looks, the way our values get lived out, the way our communities survive or don't, is in our hands. And so I would avoid this if I could, because it is a delicate matter. We are living in the age of the megachurch, the age of spectacle and production value, the age of prosperity gospel, of Christian nationalism, of financial abuse dressed up as faithfulness, and faithfulness masquerading as blessing, and blessing being a code word for privilege. This is a delicate matter. But most importantly, we're living in an age where many people, understandably, don't trust institutions at all. And then there's us, a progressive faith community, a niche of a niche, trying to talk honestly about money without manipulation, shame, or spiritual bypassing. And in this day and age, where there's a lot of cynicism floating around about church and money, I have to admit that oddly, I share some of that cynicism and anxiety. I don't want to sound like a CEO or a televangelist or someone promising blessings in exchange for donations. That's not who we are, and that's not what any of us want to be. So the task this morning isn't for us to gain some deeper understanding of generosity or the moral goodness thereof. We already know that. We already live and do that. We do it very well. And it's not to do the grown-up work of pouring through budget items and agendas. That's in June. The task is to explore true stewardship. And true stewardship as the audacious claim that what we do matters and that we still have skin in the game. That in this world, dominated by corporations, controlled by conglomerates, and run by systems that are robbing us of our agency, that in this world where trust has eroded, where rights are stripped away, and in this world where cages are planted where we once planted trees, that we still get a say, that it matters deeply that there are still institutions that we get to shape together, that it means something to be stewards of spaces that are not extractive but generative, that we can build systems which center people, not profit, that this is a place where love holds us together instead of greed, where we commit rather than coerce. And these are audacious and bold claims. And as tempting as it is to talk about some ideal future 10 or 50 years on the horizon, and to talk about our legacy, if I'm being honest, my eyes aren't on the promised land. They're on this beautiful and broken world as it is right now, because right now we are here and it is in our hands. But we have to choose whether or not we're all in. And that's the good news this morning, that we are still here, that we are still here despite it all and because of it all, that this house, built by so many hands, has a foundation stronger than the news cycle, sturdier than all of our conflicts, and tougher than any of our disappointments. The good news is that we are still here and that we still have work to do regardless of it all. But that audacity, it extends beyond just us. Not only that we still have a skin in the game, but that this world, not some imagined future utopia free of conflict or heartbreak or pain, but this world in its full and broken beauty is still worth fighting for, and that we're not giving up, and that we will not let go. And not because we don't have all the answers, not because we have the best rule book out there, and certainly not because we're going to do it perfectly, but because we are audacious enough. We are bold enough to keep trying. And we keep gathering because it matters. It matters to us. Our covenant matters. This institution shaped by love and justice and human dignity still matters, especially now. And trying for that, working towards that in this kind of a world, that is the kind of faith that I am always up here talking about. Not the faith that it will all get better someday, not the faith that if we work hard enough, it'll all improve, but that for whatever tomorrow brings, this congregation will be here facing it all with the audacity to say, bring it on. And by the way, that audacity is nothing new. Something that I love about our Unitarian heritage is how often this boldness shows up exactly when the world is on fire and when the world is unraveling. See, we come from a long line of really bold and audacious religious folk who were absurdly hopeful for this world and would not take no for an answer. And none more audacious than Egbert Brown. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about him next week, but suffice to say, Egbert Brown decided to do a really hard thing during a really hard time. Brown was a Black Unitarian minister who decided to plant a Unitarian church in Harlem in 1920. Let that sink in. It's absolutely wild. I bet you can guess just about how many Jamaican-born Unitarian ministers there were in the early 20th century. I bet you can guess how easy it was to be a Jamaican-born Unitarian minister in the early 20th century. This country was brimming with racial violence, and not just in the South. It was on the verge of one of the greatest economic collapses of our time, and social upheaval was around each and every corner, and in the midst of it all, there was Egbert Brown wanting to plant a church belonging to a faith that most people still, to this day, don't completely understand. He wasn't waiting on Unitarianism to get its act together. He wasn't waiting on the promised land or better conditions or a shared future. He believed that the world as it was needed our faith as we longed for it to be. And so he planted the Harlem Unitarian Church, and he pastored it until his death. He was all in, and he changed the scope of our faith. Church planting in hard times is an act of defiance. And in our progressive faith that doesn't wait for an afterlife, it's a declaration that despair doesn't get the final word in this world, that we still have skin in the game. And every congregation, this one included, exists because at some point, people decided to show up anyway. People decided to pool their resources anyway, to risk belief anyway, and to place their hands on freedom's plow and say, we will tend this because it matters. That's what stewardship really is. Not obligation or guilt, but agency. Knowing that we get to shape this community because it's in our hands to shape it, and not as a transaction, and not as in what do I get out of this, but as the practice of shared ownership. In this understandably cynical world, the time has long passed of proving our worth. Because when you affirm the worth and dignity of every person, you no longer need to prove it, it just is. The time has come to reclaim our agency in this world as people of progressive faith, to say we are not the only ones out there who believe that institutions and churches could be built on shared values, that we come together to tend the soil that yields our values of justice, of equity, of interconnection and pluralism, of transformation, and yes, of generosity, and then to sow those seeds of love and have faith that our labor still matters and that something will grow, and to keep our hands on the plow until it does. Stewardship at its heart is not about the bank account. It's about care and responsibility. It's about choosing to stay engaged when disengagement would otherwise be so much easier. It's about turning toward each other and saying together that this is our place and it belongs to us and we will tend to it. And to say to the forces that would tear us apart to bring it on, because we've faced storms before and we're not going anywhere. Sometimes I still wish that I could be in that other room, singing songs and playing games, and sometimes I still am. But honestly, I'd rather be right here in this room, making audacious claims and living boldly with each of you, daring to do the most radical thing that there is in this world, to hope, to try, to shape, to transform, to be all in something, to belong to something, because it is in our hands. And we still got skin in this game. And it will always be so. Blessed be.
Generosity is at the center of our mission and vision, and it is through generosity that we live our values out loud. What we give allows us to sustain the work of this congregation within and beyond these four walls. When we gather each week, let it be with this very spirit of generosity and gratitude, recognizing the blessing that it is to carry the work forward together. Our Share the Plate recipient this month is Transforming Nations Forward, a nonprofit organization based in Charlotte, dedicated to providing support and resources to underprivileged communities. The organization focuses on education, economic empowerment, and community development initiatives to help individuals and families thrive. Through partnerships with local businesses and volunteers, Transforming Nations Forward aims to create lasting positive change in the community. There are many ways to give to our shared offering. You can text to give at 73256, or you can give directly online. You can also scan the QR code and give as the basket comes your way. With gratitude for all the ways that we can give, for those who pledge to make this ongoing work possible, for those who give in the moments when it counts the most, and for those who give from our hearts, we build this community together. While the offering is collected, you are invited to come forward and light a candle, honoring a milestone, concern, or celebration. And if you've already submitted your pledge for our All-In campaign, you're invited to participate in a ritual of placing the All-In hands in the bowl on the table over there. Ushers, you may come forward to receive the offering.
Each time that we gather, we come together knowing that we bring a little bit of it all. Joys, sorrows, longings, hope, and care for this world and all of its beautiful brokenness. This morning, we lift up several in our community. We send our care to Edie Gelber-Beechler, who is undergoing treatments for a serious health issue. We also send our healing thoughts to Dawn Fairs and Nancy Cook, as Dawn is currently hospitalized. We, of course, hold Suzanne Lake with love as she grieves the loss of her mother, Simone Lake, a beloved UUCC member, long time. We'll be nailing down the dates of the memorial service within this coming week, and be sure to share that information. And we also continue to mourn the passing of Evan Visco and hold Sam, Adam, and Rebecca with love. The memorial service will be here in the sanctuary this upcoming Thursday, February 26th at 2 p.m. Won't you please join me in a moment of silence for all of the joys and the concerns on our hearts this morning as we light our candle of world concern. And now I invite you to join me in a time of prayer, of meditation, of groundedness and stillness, perhaps closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, being in this moment with one another. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, we gather here from so many places in our lives, gathering our hearts and our minds, pulling together our collective resources of time and talent and treasure, gathering to do an odd thing in this world, to say that our hearts matter, that our spirits matter, with everything that unfolds each and every day, each week a new horror, a new outrage. We forget about our spirits. And there are some spirits in this world that are broken. Some spirits in this room that are broken. The spirit of life that moves through each of us is the thread that weaves our spirits and hearts back together. The spirit of life that weaves through us and among us is really the spirit of our lives. The joys and the sorrows, the disappointments, the conflict, the pain, but yes, the joy, the knowing, the sacred remembering that we are not on this journey alone. That we were always here, and we've always been moving forward. In a world which seeks to rob us of that joy, may we hold to that. And when we can't find it, may we seek it in one another. And when we can't find it in one another, may we be bold enough to create it anyway. In this world, right here and right now, it still matters. As we move into our week, the days ahead, the months ahead, the years ahead, may we hold to that. May we hold to one another. May we be reminded of why we are still here. and be bold on the journey ahead. May it always be so. Blessed be. As always, our benediction is in the form of gratitude, so much gratitude. Gratitude for our co-chairs, for the stewardship team. It was many, many months ago at this point in which many of us gathered in a room after church one Sunday, in I believe August, to figure out what the stewardship theme was going to be. People from the board, people from staff, people from the stewardship team. And we came together, and to see it come into fruition is such a joy and such a blessing, and so many hands and so many minds and so much work. If you currently serve on the stewardship team and you're in this room, can you raise your hand and show us who you are? Thank you for your work. This is a labor of love and choir. My goodness, my gracious, this morning. Thank you so much for the music, for the joy, for the connection, for those that keep the slides running, for those greeting at the door and making coffee. We are already all in, so we don't have to worry about much, but still pledge, please. As always, you could be anywhere, but we have chosen to be here. So won't you please rise and bow to your spirit for our closing song, The Fire of Commitment.
Our service has now ended. Please join me in reading the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, not the light of truth.